Imagine never hearing another lie. Not one. You walk into a coffee shop, and before the barista can even squeeze out a polite smile, you already know the truth. His back hurts. He hates this job. And right now, he's dreaming of being on the other side of the world. You watch the news, and you don't see anchors. You see their actual motives. You know exactly who committed a crime before the police even tape off the neighborhood. It feels like the world has finally become transparent and honest, right? But that feeling only lasts about 20 seconds. Because a reality where psychic ability isn't a TV magic trick, but a physical fact, would turn our lives into something else entirely. And trust me, you probably wouldn't like it. Let's get a sense of the scale here. We're not talking about one hero in a cape. Imagine these abilities. Reading minds, seeing the future, or viewing the past through objects, showing up in hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. This isn't a miracle. It's a new biological norm. And at that moment, the world as we know it simply stops existing. Everything collapses, from your bank passwords to the privacy of your texts. It's not just a technical glitch. It's the total dismantling of human civilization as we know it. At first glance, it seems like the perfect solution to all our problems. Just imagine. No more unsolved murders. A detective walks into a room, touches a wall, and sees everything that happened there 3 hours ago. Diagnostic doctors who don't need MRIs or blood tests because they can literally feel a tumor or a blood clot in your artery. Finding a missing child goes from a days-long nightmare to a 5-minute operation. We've waited centuries for this. We've called it a gift. But there's one problem nobody thinks about until the euphoria wears off. And that problem is the noise. Now, imagine you're one of them. You step outside during rush hour. You don't just see the crowd, you hear them. And no, not with your ears. Thousands of fragments of other people's lives come crashing into your head. Someone's fear of being fired, someone's lust, someone's grief over a lost loved one, petty grudges, dirty fantasies, dinner plans, and panic attacks. It's not a symphony. It's an endless brain-shredding white noise. You can't close your eyes and hide. You can't plug your ears. Other people's emotions cut right through you like radiation. Very soon, the gift turns into a curse that drives you insane. Psychiatric wards would be the first to overflow, with people who just couldn't handle the mental pressure. But while some are losing their minds, others start taking action. And this is where it gets interesting. As soon as psychics are officially recognized, society splits instantly. Imagine the job interviews. Your experience doesn't matter on your resume anymore. All that matters is whether your mind is clean. Companies hire staff telepaths to check employees for loyalty. Every morning is a mental frisking. You can't even think about your boss being an idiot because he'll know before you finish your coffee. The very concept of inner space vanishes. Your thoughts aren't yours anymore. They become public property. And few realize how this changes the mechanics of power. Governments aren't just going to watch from the sidelines. A global headhunt begins. Imagine special ops units made of seers. Why bother with spy satellites and hackers when you can put a person in a room in Moscow and have them report exactly what's being discussed in the Oval Office in Washington? It's a new kind of arms race, a mental Cold War. Global intelligence becomes a battle of psychics, where the winner is whoever finds a way to block the other side's vision first. Black zones will appear, shielded by LED screens or special devices, where the powerful can spend an hour alone with their secrets. But what about you? A regular person just trying to live your life? Your value as an individual starts to hit zero. If you don't have the gift, you're transparent. You're an open book for the people at the top. And if you do have the gift, you become a state resource. You don't belong to yourself anymore. You're a tool. You're a living lie detector, a radar, or a stock market predictor. Imagine the pressure when the value of a currency or the start of a war depends on your vision. One mistake costs millions of lives. You can't just say, "I'm tired," or "I don't see anything." They will make you see. This brings us to the toughest part, the ethical dead end. Imagine you see the future. You know that in a week, there's going to be a plane crash. You see the flight number and the faces of the passengers. If you report it, the authorities cancel the flight. A victory, right? But what if that event was supposed to trigger a chain of other more important things. What if a person who survives that crash goes on to do something horrific 10 years later? You're playing God without having God's wisdom. Guilt starts to haunt your every decision. Helping one person means taking a chance away from another. In a world of psychics, there are no good deeds, only an endless choice between the bad and the worse. The social pressure would be unbearable. People would hate psychics and beg them for help at the same time. They'd be banging on your door, asking you to find a lost ring, heal a child, or tell them if their husband still loves them. And when you refuse, because you're exhausted, because your head is splitting from everyone else's pain, they'll call you a monster. You become a slave to their expectations. You're a function, not a human being. Your personality is erased, dissolved in an ocean of other people's needs. Now, let's look a little further ahead, into a future where this has become our permanent reality. 3 scenarios emerge. The first is optimistic, but unlikely. Humanity achieves total empathy. We feel each other's pain as our own, and wars just stop, because you physically cannot strike someone whose suffering you can feel in your own head. We become a single organism, where lies are impossible, and love is absolute. The second scenario is dark realism, a caste system. At the top, a psychic elite ruling the world. At the bottom, the mutes, ordinary people whose thoughts are scanned and controlled. It's the perfect dictatorship, because the very seed of rebellion is ripped from your mind before you even realize you're thinking it. Society becomes a sterile, silent anthill. And the third scenario is global chaos. The economy collapses because stock markets make no sense if someone knows the future. Families fall apart because no one can handle the absolute truth about each other. Religions burn out under the weight of new evidence. Humanity simply can't process that much information in honesty. We are too fragile to see the world without filters. Ultimately, the great paradox of psychic power is that knowing everything kills the very essence of life. Life is uncertainty. It's risk. It's the hope that only lives where there is a mystery. If you know the end of the movie, it's boring to watch. If you know every word your partner is going to say before they say it, love turns into a mechanical ritual. We think we want to know everything, but in reality, what keeps us afloat is exactly what we don't know. So, if psychics really existed, the world wouldn't get better. It would just become different, naked, loud, and terrifyingly cramped. We would lose the last thing we truly have, our right to be alone inside our own heads. Here's a final question for you. If you were offered this gift right now, to know everything, to see through everyone, and to never be deceived again, but the price was losing the silence in your own head forever, would you take it? Or would you choose to keep your right to blissful ignorance? Let me know in the comments if you're ready for a world where there's nowhere to hide, because maybe the most valuable thing we have is that door in our minds that only we have the key to.